Down.
Yeah, we're getting step by step more and more professional with it. Now we have the setup for subscription that we have a bit higher quality on the camera, a bit higher quality for the audio recording, and the next step, I suppose, is then to set up a proper studio.
Yes, and hopefully.
So what's on your mind this week?
Well, yes, I am actually trying to think about this setup that we can do a little bit like higher quality and do like a proper episode. That would be cool.
Yeah, I saw one YouTube creator who's quite popular, I think. He had some sort of setup that he uses because he creates content around the world. So he has some travel pack that he takes, and it involved one of the cameras, but I believe because you have a good Canon and I have a good Canon, that we could take them, set him on, and once we get it set up one time, then I'm sure that after that everything is just smooth sailing, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that we have to figure out whether or not it's necessary to have the external mixer, or can we do the same thing with the software? That's something that we need to figure out.
Yeah, because I think in the beginning we can just have our frame and see how it goes. And at some point, I liked where the podcast can follow the audio. Therefore, the camera activates to film or like to display the person that is talking. But I mean, step by step, because that's like, I think that's like a plugin that you can do. Yeah.
And actually, this Riverside also, they have the option when you do the edit that it automatically, if I remember correctly, it automatically can detect which one's speaking. But the problem is that there's a bit of delay. So it's not optimized enough. So it's not very easy on the eye. But the option is there. But
the delay, you mean when they change the camera to another person?
Yeah. So the other person can speak for a while, but they still keep track of the previous person. So and then if it's a certain period, not a certain length is the sentence that you're saying out loud, then it can be that it switches very quickly in a weird way, but it can be optimized. And actually what we can do now also, I'm not sure if probably the Premiere Pro would have this function, but I don't have the capabilities to use it to such extent yet, but it's something to look to.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, I think we're going to do it step by step, because either one of us is an expert in these things. So we need to learn how to do this.
Yeah, and as I think we discussed last time, that when we look back these episodes 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now, it has to look bad, right? We cannot begin from the top. Otherwise,
no.
There would be no progress to be made.
Otherwise they'll be just downhill after that.
Yeah. And what about you? Do you want separately, because now we can get the separate tracks, do you want video of you, captions of you? Is there some channel that you want to spread it through on social media platforms or something? Or you don't have these kind of plans yet?
I haven't think about it. But But no, definitely. I mean, this is something we should do. As in, like, to create a channel to post all this.
Yeah.
Like let's say Instagram, you mean, or a YouTube channel?
Yeah, from your personal point of view, if you, I'm asking because I can edit those clips to take like 1 30-second clip of you only, and then I can just export it and add captions to it and then send it to you if you want to use these kind of things yet or not.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can do that.
It's an option.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm just don't know where I'm going to put that. More than my Instagram. So I don't have Facebook. Well, maybe a LinkedIn. Maybe something. LinkedIn could be. I like LinkedIn.
So of course. Some topics that we cover here, you can use it also for professional purposes or personal branding, but as long as it's not something too
some of them probably not professionally.
Yeah, it might be like when I left the corporate last year, I took a stance that for the next few months, I'm going to post about any of my interests. I'm pretty sure that there's quite a few people who are reading it like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Why is he posting stuff? But I don't care. But now that I'm also like, because as you know, I'm also open to opportunities in the field again. I'm thinking a little bit if my behavior on LinkedIn and how my profile looks at the moment there, it's like it's not very appealing to the recruiters or the companies if I'm applying right now. I think there's a little bit of that, but I might be wrong too.
Yeah. No, yeah, I know what you mean, but I always think about the two kinds of people. Like one person that will say, "What is this guy say? What is he doing?" Like, you know, because after all, he's like, whatever you're saying is your opinion.
Yeah.
Whatever you're saying is the stage of your life that you are, and then you want to say certain things, and you know, like kind of like. But if somebody sees it from the point of view, like, what is he saying? Like, what is he doing? Stuff like that. That's one type of person. And normally I would be like, I wouldn't comment that much about it. But there is also people that will be like, okay, so he's kind of like trying this. He's exploring this. You know, he's kind of like exercising the freedom of speech.
Yeah.
You know, like he's breaking the barrier of like this fear of posting what you actually think about something.
Yeah, and that's actually the essence of what I've been doing. You covered it pretty well.
Yeah. And that's very cool when people think that way.
Yeah.
Because one person might be saying that from the point of insecurity, because they might be in the deep like in depth, probably they want to do something similar, but they don't do it because of fear of like what the colleagues are going to say at work, or maybe if they do it on Instagram, then what my friends are going to think if I actually say what I want to say. So yeah,
there's a lot of that.
It's cool to see somebody. Yeah, it's cool to see somebody that actually just go for it and say whatever.
It's fresh, especially
like your posts.
Yeah, especially in the professional network. It's but so far, I haven't been able to make the most of it. I haven't cracked the code of like engagement and all that. But it's the biggest thing for me is just to start creating content and then publish it and not be scared of it. And now that I opened the Substack newsletter as well, it was one of the steps that I had in mind for a long time. And I struggle with because I hate all this back office shit in the background that you have to do when creating websites with WordPress and integrations of MailChimp or any autoresponder newsletter software. I was like so fed up with it. And then I remembered all of a sudden, like Substack does this and you can actually create it like simply, but I just didn't want the paid version, but of course you can use the free version, but let's see how it plays out. But and now I started it, and now every Sunday I have this framework, 5 different bullet points that I'm going to write about every week. So it has its own formula, and every Sunday there's going to be a post that's going to be for free. And in addition to that, I'm actually considering of posting separate posts, but I need to think what can bring value. And another thing that now that we're doing podcasts as well, I was thinking of just recording, maybe daily, like 15 minutes monologues that I publish on the platform, because in Substack, you can also publish this podcast. And these kind of things could be then available for the ones who pay for the subscription. But I have to create some sort of idea to actually add value in this content.
I think the monologue is very cool idea. I've been thinking about it as well, but I just don't know where to publish that, in which context. So exactly when you talk about Substack, it's like, maybe that's kind of like an angle that it was missing for a lot of people. Yeah. And now people are just going to, because it has a huge adoption nowadays.
It is. And I like the user interface too. And there's a lot of, I haven't gotten into it yet so much as to read the content or the news, but there's a lot of independent journalists who are doing excellent job, especially in the States. I don't know what's the situation in Europe because I didn't look for that yet. but you can find a lot of different publishers that's external or independent from any mainstream stuff. And so it should be, I think it was on Joe Rogan that the founder of Substack was actually interviewed some months back. Maybe you listened to that, but he seemed like an interesting guy. Yeah. That's when it started for me to get this idea of jumping on the platform and
to look it up and see what it is. Yeah, I heard that it's really good for journalists and like for this kind of like a space where they can say what they want to say.
Exactly.
There is no censoring.
Exactly.
They're not censoring people and stuff like that.
Yeah. But like just first for me, thinking about the strategy is to publish consistently and then somehow create kind of writing that is interesting to people. And then after that, start figuring out the ways how to give enough value that people would actually subscribe to it without showing my boobies or my feet. So it has to be, it has to be something else.
Yeah. But I think it's really cool that you are doing these monologues and stuff. But I also think that with cracking the code, I believe that formula has a little bit of documentation. Like when people document themselves in this process in creative ways. Let's say the monologue is a documentation itself, right? But when you're writing, if you could make some in a way to kind of like a document your, I think we talk about it, about like, for example, if you're going to go swimming or if you're going to go, like, what is your lifestyle like? Do people get into your kind of like a lifestyle a little bit, like inside your brain, inside like your daily life? Yes, exactly. But like a crew that is like filming you, not all the time, but you just show what you want to show, that can somehow at some point they start to see the progress of what you're doing.
Yeah. And
I think that's,
to me, the way I approach writing, especially when it comes to online, is one, it's how would I put it? It pushes me to take notes of certain things that I read or explore. And then my job is to turn those notes into some form of text. And when I do that, it requires a lot of thinking. And first you have to think it through, think these notes. How would I write it? How would I communicate it? So it clarifies how I'm thinking as well. And then how to make it appealing to the reader. So there's multiple elements. And on top of that, then if I learn about something and then I write about it and I have to think it through on how to write about it, then I start to remember it so much better, the topic that because often I have that, I read a book or article and I'm super amazed and fascinated what's in it. Then the next day I'm like, what was the topic again? Like, it was super interesting, but I can't recall anything. How is that possible? But if I talk to you or if I talk to my girlfriend about these things, and then I memorize it over and over again, and then I write it down, then I read again, then it's completely different kind of memorizing tool opposed to just reading it once and then thinking about it. It helps with that.
Yeah, I have also think about these creative ways of doing stuff. And for example, I was thinking it would be cool to do sections. Like, we have the podcast, right? And we can sit down and talk about like Sam Smith in the Grammys and his performance.
I didn't see the performance.
Performance.
I didn't see the performance, but I did see the suit, the balloon, or the
the Pfizer commercial ad as well. Just after.
Okay, perfect. And
but weird stuff happening.
I think I saw it on Twitter that somebody had posted a picture of anal plug. And then the text was, who wore it better? Like, because it resembles so much like an anal plug that what Sam Smith was wearing. So he was just asking like who wore it better. I don't know if you get the image in your head.
I haven't seen it.
But did you see what he was wearing or no?
I think something like a red dress.
No, I might completely mistaken.
You mean in the performance?
I only saw the red carpet thing.
I saw the red carpet as well, but I didn't see the performance. But I just know because I heard that there was this people is just saying that it's satanic cult or like church verified that it was and somebody was saying about the Pfizer in the middle of the show.
Perfect.
So it's so ridiculous, like so Pfizer, and then perfect, exactly. So it's like the obvious becomes ridiculously obvious. Like, why are they doing this in this way? That is like, it's kind of weird. But anyway, we can talk about like this, or we can talk about something deeper. Like life and philosophy and all the stuff, or technology.
Yeah.
And I think that's very cool because it's a lot of flexibility in what we can talk. But I was thinking that we could also, during the week or weekend, go to Helsinki, to a place that is very crowded, that people will just, and we can interview people. I mean, I can film, you can interview people just have you seen that they have this microphone with cable?
Yeah.
And then they do this, you have one, and the one that has the microphone, you can use it as a microphone. Yeah. And ask people questions, talk to people randomly.
Like a journalist.
And then we can take that section and put it inside the program and make like a program. So we have a talk, and then we cut to put that, and then at the end
so there's like a specific topic about whatever it may be, and then interview these people about this similar topic, right? Do I get it right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So it will make But anyway, I just derailed from the line of thinking. But it's just so that at some point it would be nice to do that.
But actually,
and then I just remember you moved to Barcelona, and I was like,
no, we can do it there. I will be here anyway, occasionally. But what I wanted to say, also talk to you about, because I as you come from Colombia, and I also wrote about it in the Substack. Because I'm reading, or rather listening to this book about the plant medicines, tobacco and ayahuasca. And tobacco, I've never, as we do in the Western countries, we don't really consider it in any kind of medicinal plant. But in these indigenous cultures around Amazon and South America, they really have, or also Native Americans in North America, they have a lot of rituals around tobacco and its use. Are you familiar with any of that from your time, or is it something that they consider in Bogota, where you're from, or?
No, but I know what you mean, because tobacco, of course, the plant creates this nicotine as a poison, as a defense mechanism against insects. So, of course, the indigenous at some point, I don't know how they realize about this, but it's not in a way, the rituals is not in a way similar to ayahuasca. It's quite different, because having this tobacco ritual will make you feel maybe a little bit sick in a different way than the ayahuasca makes you feel sick, just because of the process of the plants that is so raw. The DMT is coming in, but the tobacco is more like a reset. In a different way.
I heard it described in this book that maybe I need to go back to it, but if I recall, they were saying similar things in the Native American people, and then the ones indigenous healers or curanderos in the Amazons. And they were saying that ayahuasca is, in a way, it's a plant that like lets you see the things that you're not aware of and the connections, and lets you see them, what's wrong with you, if there's something wrong with you, and all these kind of things. And tobacco is then the one that heals it. Like ayahuasca helps you understand what's going on, and then tobacco can heal it. This is something that...
yeah, but this is like a metaphysical explanation of these things, right? Like a DMT. I mean, ayahuasca is the specific in Amazonas what they do.
Of course, it's
combination of plant. But you know what I mean? But what I'm trying to say is that what's happening to your body with the tobacco when you do this ritual. It might be that heals you in a way of, maybe I shouldn't talk too much about it because I will need to look into it again.
Yeah,
I've seen it, somebody doing it in a program in Netflix called Change Your Mind.
Yeah, How to Change Your Mind. Yeah, by Michael Pollan.
How to Change Your Mind.
That was the first time that I really saw, because he took this short trip with it. And I have a quote from him that I wrote for Substack as well, is that he said that...
Yeah, about the West.
Yeah, tobacco is a sacred plant in many cultures, but we in the West turn it into these evil and addictive cancer sticks. And that feels like
we industrialize.
Yeah, and it's something is off.
Yeah.
But I've never smoked.
Yeah, it's interesting. I used to smoke cigarettes.
Oh, you did?
Because my mom, because my mom also used to smoke. So when I was very, very young, I knew that she was smoking, but I was super young, and I remember at my neighborhood we were different friends, but same ages. And at some point, somebody got cigarettes, and we went to this tree, and we climbed a tree, very tall tree, and we all got cigarettes, and we started to smoke. And I remember I have eaten something before going there, and then I got a little bit sick. I was very dizzy and like, but I was like 12 years old, like maybe 11, 12 years old. So that was one of the first experiences that I was like, whoa, this shit is terrible. But then of course, in my house, there was always cigarettes. And then I was home alone, and I went to take a cigarette and try to smoke it. And I didn't even know how to smoke properly. And I was just testing, like, of course, in my mind, it was like, well, I know it's bad, but my mom is doing it and keeps doing it. So, and it's there. I mean, you open it and you see this red Marlboro prohibited thing, but it's just right there. And there's something really strange with that. These sticks, and you know, in the smoke and
the habit of it.
So,
and also how it was marketed back in the days. It's curious to, like, we are not maybe old enough to experience the proper good old times of cigarettes, that, you know, airplanes, you could smoke cigarettes. Also the doctor's appointment, the doctor might have a cigarette while he's doing the diagnosis and all that. It's weird, and how it was marketed as a healthy stuff. But if you use it correctly, I believe it has a lot of health benefits for the mental
it's the same as cocaine.
It's
the same as cocaine. Yeah, you know,
I don't think it's the same, but you can make the same argument of it. But I think because to me, cocaine doesn't have this spiritual component to it, or is there? I've never.
Well, I think. I mean, talking about spiritual. I mean. I mean, is there anything actually like that, or is it a product of their mind?
No, because what I'm talking about is in a traditional sense, that there's no spiritual rituals surrounding cocaine, or they don't have belief. There's no system or culture that has a habit of creating or using cocaine as any kind of medicine or
but if you think about, for example, these trips that they go through the mountains, and they are having the cocaine plant to do these trips,
but that's different.
You can argue Yeah, but you can argue that during these trips in the mountains and being altered by the cocaine and they're giving you energy, you can also have this argument of like, oh yeah, I'm doing this.
Well, if that's what,
but there is no like a ritual, like shamanic ritual. You mean? I don't know.
I think now we have to differentiate the terms a little bit, because when I talk about cocaine, I'm not talking about the coca leaves, because cocaine is something that's like manufactured by adding some shitty ingredients into it that creates then this.
Oh, of course. I'm talking about the plant.
Of course. Yeah. But that's then we're talking about.
I said cocaine.
Yeah. You were talking about cocaine.
Yeah, you're right. No, sorry. Yeah. But I mean, cocaine and cigarettes, tobacco and
coca plants.
Coca plant. Yeah. Coca plants. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it? I think it's called coca. Maybe. I think so.
Yeah. Planta coca. Yes. So, but what I'm trying to say is that like there is a lot of stuff in the natural kingdom, and everything in the natural kingdom can be seen as a ritual because it's natural. And then you can see what the effect is on you and how you can make this into a ritual. So everything is a ritual. Now, the tobacco, for example, I think, or the ayahuasca, there is more like a ritual plus a ceremony, plus a shaman, plus a process of, creating this whole. So for me, what I'm trying to say is that the planta of coca plant, all these people, like the indigenous that will chew the plant and take these trips through the mountains. And, I feel that they might have in some,
of course,
healing, but there's not much to heal when you live a super, not precarious, but like natural way of living. I mean, the life is very simple, but it's complicated. It's we, the modern society, that have these stupid problems that we think they are like super big. So we need to go to some shaman and say, okay, tobacco, and I need to heal, and I need to, these things.
Yeah, because we lost the connection. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that the coca plant is helpful with the altitude sickness. So,
yes.
But it's definitely, there's a deeper part to that we understand from here.
Yeah. So my point is, tobacco is a plant, but I would think about that something. I don't see tobacco as a proper ritual, legit, when there is something like DMT. I would not compare these two things because, as you say, probably this is about healing. Probably this is about like self-discovery. So maybe they are different in that way.
Yeah, I cannot operate as an expert either.
I don't know either.
Fairly, but it's I just like the concept of like taking something that taking something that we consider here in our societies as completely evil thing, but then when you go to the roots of how people started to use it and how they might still be using it in a completely different way, it's just interesting to me to see that kind of perspective instead of just only see this natural plant as an evil thing that's killing people, because it's killing millions of people every year.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
But it's interesting to see these perspectives of.
And I have to be honest that I do have that perception of cigarettes as an industrial tobacco.
Yeah.
Every time a friend of mine is smoking, or every time I know that somebody that I know is smoking, I'm almost on the edge of being in the position of saying something. And I have many times to my friends, like, you still smoking, blah, blah, blah. I did smoke. I quit. And
So now you're virtuous. And you can...
Now I can signal beers to people,
Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So every time I have an opportunity to be virtuous, I'll yes,
all the chances you get. Like,
yes.
Like something that came to my mind as well. Here it's like you're living in Finland here, and all of these plants, and when it comes to legislations and regulations came to my mind that now we have the elections for the members of parliament this year. Is this something that you're following in Finland, or are you going to vote, or do you have any stand on that?
I don't know if I can vote yet because I'm not a citizen.
You can, yeah. You're a resident. That's
yeah. Okay, yeah. Then I will probably look into it because I will probably vote for people that are pro legalizing plants. Pro plants, yeah.
It's a Green Party, I would say, or the left wing party. Vihreät or vasemmisto.
Yeah. Green Party it is.
So you're not
who?
I think Vihreät, which is the Green Party, and vasemmisto. I don't know the official name in English, but leftist, left wing party. Those are the ones that for sure are on the side. But it's I never really vote myself in any kind of elections. I don't know. I've never really bothered. It's something, I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing about me, but I just don't believe in making a difference.
Well, maybe you don't believe in making a difference, because definitely you need to believe that you are doing this, so many people is doing it the same, or people that think the same way as me is going to vote for, and then this is going to push towards something. But I mean, Henry Ford has a very good quote about this. If quoting will make the difference, they wouldn't let us voting.
Because, I can. That's my intuition. What it's saying.
Yeah, and he also said something like, if people would know how actually the voting and the financial institutions are working, they probably will go protest on Monday. If they will really all understand. But of course, in the States, I don't know, I'm not saying here in Finland, but of course, if Federal Reserve, people will really understand all these heavy, only a PhD in finance and economic will understand these complex, stupid things.
Yeah, I don't understand that in countries like ours, we have this kind of same systematic behavior than the king of capitalists in America. I think they're way ahead on that, but I have a sense of feeling that the big country does it first, and then it arrives into the rest of the Western countries, the similar habits. And just my intuition tells me that something is off when it comes to voting. I think there's some sort of curtain. It's somehow like a curtain.
It's weird.
And like one of the arguments that I really hate, because you can understand that, like when I tell people that I don't really vote, like I'm not interested in voting, whether it's presidential member or the local election or whatever. And then always the argument comes, well, then you don't have the right to complain. Like, why does that come with it? Why does that come with the package? Like, because you can be as stupid back to them by saying, well, actually you're the one who cannot complain because you are the one who voted these people who got there. So you made the decision, you chose. This equally stupid argument. But
I mean, and it's really, really hard because complaining about what? You have to be very specific to see who actually is slightly on the right side, because so you cannot complain when something is not working the way you want because you could have voted, but they cannot complain when what they vote for is doing the wrong.
Yeah.
But if they're doing the right from what they write to them, they wouldn't complain. And if you don't vote because you think everything is the way is working you can navigate through that, but you can still complain.
I think you should be able to, because you as a voter, you can change your mind multiple times. They can change their minds. Like whatever happens in a given day, you have a right to agree or disagree. Why not? Just don't hurt people along the way. And like I had a discussion with friends, like I was saying that when it comes, I don't know about the other parties, and I don't know even if this is true, but the way I see it, a member of parliament is not looking to change the world or is not looking to change Finland. They are just looking to get the job of a member of parliament. They want the benefits. They want the status. That's it. Some of them might have like ideological views in the beginning. Maybe some can hold it, but it's very minimal percentage of people who I believe are doing that. So they want the status. They want the benefits that come with it, and that's sufficient. Then they realize when they are in the middle of the machinery, oh, I cannot really make a difference here. Can I
change anything? Yeah. But do you feel that when you vote, you feel like a sheep?
Maybe. I never thought of it like that.
Because sometimes people might say, okay, if I vote, I'm just being like the rest. I'm being like the pack. Everything is, and it's not only about voting, it's about going to a concert, feeling that you are worshipping something, it's that same sense of like, maybe, going to a concert and feel like you look around and all these people are looking at one person or one band. And it's like, there's this fanatic sense of, you don't want to feel like that. Because I don't feel like that either. I don't like to feel like that. I never liked that sense of worshipping something.
Me neither. That's really off-putting to me, and I don't understand how people can react to that, because they never know who the person is. First of all, like you can admire their music, exactly. You can admire what they're doing, you can admire their contribution to the world in politics, economics, environmentally, or whatever it may be. Or in Hollywood, in movies, or in music, and all of that. Admire what they're doing, but the fanatic idolization of a person that you really don't know anything about, apart from a few good songs, and then it comes as a surprise. Oh, he's a wife beater. Oh, he's a rapist. Oh, he's stolen so much money from. Oh, this is so surprising. He could never do that. Oh, he slapped the face of a fan. Oh, wow. How could this happen? Like. And then I'm on the same page with you. I cannot.
Yeah, it's hard for me to idolize people.
Yeah.
Because you never know. And it's just like same as you. It's just a person that just, things put in place and that person became famous. That's it. But yeah, I mean, I get it. If it is a nice band and you want to go somewhere and see the band and enjoy a little bit the concert, to see them live and say you were there and stuff. Yeah, I get that part, but it's the same with church, It's the same when you see any mass congregation doing something, you kind of question that, like, why is all these people doing that? Straight away, it's like off-putting. If really everyone is running to say hi to somebody, all that stuff. And that translates into many different configurations, which it goes along the same pattern. And one of them is voting, probably.
Yeah, but I'm going a little bit sidetracks here, but it reminded me of a thing that working in a corporate world. While I was living in Barcelona, I remembered a couple of times, or it has happened in different companies as well. But you're working in an office with young people usually, and then there's a word that's coming out that now this high-level manager is visiting us from headquarters. Everybody bring a suit. No, he's coming. He's going to be here in 5 minutes. What do we do? Like, do we sit down? Do we pretend that we're working? Do we say hello? Like
the reverence.
Yeah. Like, we have to somehow show off that we're, they don't know anything about this person. They don't know if he's a piece of shit. They don't know if he's charismatic, if he's funny, exactly. If he's sad, if he's mad. But everything is just related to status.
Yeah.
And they're scared of
True. And sometimes they get to the job and they don't even know that much.
Yeah. It's just
they're just there because they are a bit senior, have experience, and they just get there because, they have work. Thankfully, they have work in certain companies that the CV looks like, oh yeah, we can trust this guy because he comes from Boeing or he comes from Meta.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, okay. And then the guy is just a normal guy that is like, unless he's super technical, unless somebody is super, super technical, then I will say, yeah. And most of the time, those people are not super high, like highlight, or maybe it's more like the executive, the business side that somehow is like a rock star in this.
And there's just a bit of the status that's bothering. Are we disconnected now, by the way, or are you still?
No, but for a moment you were frozen.
Okay, for me, you were frozen. Maybe
okay, yeah.
Maybe it will fix in the processing phase that we will just look stupid.
Money back.
We will just look stupid for 30 seconds and speaking on top of each other. But it will fix it, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I understood from this program, that actually, like, it doesn't matter if it looks sometimes that it's a little bit blurrier or you don't hear the voice. It should correct it, but I don't know to what extent. But we will see that.
It has to do something with the cloud, and is getting something in the cloud and putting lower resolution here, but then it will like calibrate or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just bluffing.
It's
knowing that I know a lot about technology.
It's not enough to work in the tech industry. You still don't need to know anything, right? Especially if you work in sales.
That's true. Yeah. But I would say that from when I started my job from now, I know a lot of stuff already.
Yeah, of course.
I know that I don't know like a lot of stuff as well. You know, like I know I have seen my progress to understand more what I'm working with, but at the same time, sometimes in the meetings and stuff like that, it's gonna take a while.
Yeah,
it might take a life, you know. But talking about companies, you know. So sorry, but what you were saying about this executive and stuff, I just thought the idea about the companies as well, that in some way when you are part of a corporation, then you are also in a way that what we were talking about. You're just a number somehow.
That's the biggest trick. And I can live the life, but I cannot live the life without acknowledging that fact. And I'm still surprised how so many people don't get it or don't see it that way. And it's not a problem if they're happy with what they're doing. Just why would it matter if they like it? It's their thing. They have their work community, which is also actually very important to have this kind of community. It's nothing wrong with that. But to not see that, like to be surprised that, okay, now I'm laid off. What the fuck? How can you be surprised if they mistreat you sometimes? How can you be surprised that, this bonus is not arriving this year? Oh, I'm not getting this holiday. Oh, how can it be? I'm getting yelled at by my boss. Oh, what did I do wrong again? And like, if you stop going to work, I don't know. if you stop going to work, they will be there no matter. It doesn't matter if you're there or not. Like you're not big part of the puzzle, but what they're doing is they actually make it appear so that you are. And there's all kind of awards and rewards, and this now you got this quarterly statue from achieving this and this kind of thing. So now you're like some sort of high achiever, and it lifts you up. You're a young person fresh from university. It lifts you up, and this is a hook that they keep. They give you the sense of meaning. And one of the weird things to me, like, is also like when it comes to compensation. That's something that I don't understand how people can't see it. Is like, especially if you work in sales and you have quotas and all. Let's say that you actually do super well your job one year and you overachieved quota because you did it. You found a new business, you overachieved the quota. And what happens next year? They double your quota and you have to use the same customers that already bought the product the previous season, and you have no time but to take care of them. But this year they're not buying. But you're still doing the same job, but your company is rewarding you for a brilliant job by lowering your salary the next year. And this is happening constantly. And I don't understand why people don't question it more. Like you can live with it. Like you can, a lot of people, most of the times, the best employees, they figure it out. They apply to competitor and then they go and work there, where it may or may not be better, but at least they're able to negotiate themselves a better salary. But the whole concept, I don't, it was one one of the first things that I said when I was a couple of months working in a company that had a quota, and then I started to think about it. Wait, so if I do my job well, the next year my salary will be lower because of that. Then the manager was, I think he figured it out. And it's just, and
well, I think it has to be a symmetric view of things in these ways, because in some way a company is not easy. I mean, setting up a company, and some people like forget about how, okay, I'm joining a company and I want them to somehow treat me special, but you don't realize also as well that to set up a company, it requires so much work to do, so much risk. So when that's done, and then they already have setting out the company and build up everything, and then you just join in the middle of the race. It's different when you are the co-founder, when you are the entrepreneur. Then it's like, okay, but if entrepreneurship doesn't work for you, it's fine, because I feel like not everyone is an entrepreneur, like purebred. So somehow you have to realize what kind of entrepreneur you are, and you have to try that, and then bounce back and find stability, and then gamble again, and then find stability and gamble again until you do it, right? But when you find stability, for me, it's important to understand that it's fine to follow somebody that has already done that. In this case, when somebody has a company and hire me and tell me to do certain kind of job, I expecting them to treat me very well, like give me benefits and to keep me happy. At the same time, I know that they can let me go at any time, but that's how business work. I know I'm not special, but I think what makes these experiences different is to try to connect with people that you work with. Try to make that be the best part of the job. Because after all, the CEO, the person that serves the coffee, the person that collects the beans, the secretary, the software engineer, they all have different personalities, different lifestyles, and the backgrounds, and all the and to feel that you are kind of all in the same boat, despite the position that you have, and that you can look at these people and really look into the eyes and have a real interaction. It makes things easier, because you realize that everything's going to be all right after all. If I go somewhere, I still have that,
And it's small action that you usually need. It doesn't require much.
Yeah.
So that's like a simple thing to do as a leader. But it's still often I've seen it multiple times. Like, I cannot understand, some people are working in huge corporation in mid-management position, and you can see that they are working in a mid-management position and they're proud of it. And at the same time, they don't understand, they think that they're somehow higher on a pedestal of humankind than the employees that work for them.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And it's ridiculous to watch that, how they're so pretentious, cocky, idiotic. And then without realizing, or maybe they do realize that they're just middlemen in somewhere in between. They didn't quite make it yet, but they still made it enough that they can push people around a little bit and feel proud of that. And it's just and you can find those kind of people in every corporation.
And you see them straight away.
Yeah.
Like, you talk to them and you are like, okay, I see you are one of those.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll see you around, man. Yeah, bye.
Yeah, no need to interact more.
It's super easy. No. You already know. You have to have a meeting with that person, and you are like, you have to be very careful and to not fall into that game.
Yeah, I don't want to work with an environment where I cannot consider all the people as my peers. peers, but they do have different functions, of course, when it comes to operations, of course. But as a human being worker, you're a peer. Like, you're not superior. You're not.
That's the point.
Yeah.
You shouldn't confuse that, and many people do it, as you said. Like, you confuse the thing that we are equal as human beings, and you have a different position in the hierarchy, whatever it is, higher, but
different tasks.
You shouldn't different tasks, but you shouldn't confuse those two things.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, most of the time is not. I have compassion for those people because they don't have the tools. They grow up in an environment that maybe that was the case for them as well as children.
That's the thing.
And the parents were like that with them when they went to work, and then they have something and they went home, and then, and this trauma is just passed by.
Exactly.
I think this guy, I don't remember his name, but this trauma passes through generations. Of course, trauma in the sense for this conversation, these things that are traumas. But in general, we are past experiences because our behavior is going to impact our children, right? And our grandparents, parents, but you can see when a trauma has been passed through generations and it has never been worked out. Work out.
Somebody has to stop the pattern. Take the blocks and
that's your responsibility. Yeah, definitely. You have to understand that first, these people before you, they're also dealing with that.
Yeah, I struggle actually because I think exactly the way you do that. I feel like because they weren't born like this. Something happened along the way, usually as a child or in school age.
As well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And something happened there that oppressed their whatever kind of feelings that they were not able to show, or their sense of belonging was never there. Mm-hmm. And now that they quote unquote made it, they want to revenge kind of, and to treat people how they were treated. So I also feel this compassion, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't deal with this person.
But you're human. You're human, of course.
But
if
I was Mahatma Gandhi, I would probably give him a chance and give him a hug and all those kind of things. But I'm not quite there.
No, but I'm the same as you. I really try to be. That's why it's so important to be present. But it's hard. It's really hard because if you are present and you think this way, the easiest way is when everything is fine. You can operate like that.
Yeah,
you can have compassion and be kind. The tricky part is when you are under stress, when you find these people, when you're in that situation, and then you have to deploy that kindness and that compassion. In those moments, it's the hardest moments.
Yeah.
When somebody says something mean to you, somebody treats you like shit, I think that's the hardest part. And I try to do that, but sometimes I can't. My it's blocked. I'm a little bit like clouded in that moments.
Yeah.
And then a few moments after, I'm like, I could have done this. Yeah. But it's gone. I mean, whatever. Yeah. Next time. So, and I have been better a little bit, but it's very slow progress in those cases.
But I also the weird part in my mind have considered sometimes like, what if after like a horrible meeting with this kind of people, you would just approach, especially if it's man to man, you would just approach them. Hey, I think you did great, but you could improve on this, and then you end it with a hug. You hug the person for like three awkward seconds. You just hold it in, and then you leave after that. Even though you've been disgusted by every single thing that this person was saying during that meeting, in the end, you have the guts to walk up to him, thank you for the meeting, and give him a hug.
And then cut.
Yeah. And then just leave and sit.
It's hard.
But if you could do that, like how it would fuck up their mind. It would have to.
Yeah, but
it would have to.
Yes, but you have to think about that might be they are in such a different mindset that this will be like super weird for them.
Yeah, of course.
They might not even,
They cannot comprehend it. Like it's
no, and I see what you say because that might fucked up their mind, confuse them even more.
Yeah. Definitely would. They think that now I made it. I got the message through. Now the people will start working. They fear me a little bit after this, and then one guy approaches them. Hey,
I will say, may do in between do nothing and what you just said, something in the middle.
Yeah, maybe.
What would that be?
I don't know. It's maybe just give some sort of compliment or handshake or pat on the shoulder or invitation to go for
the head.
Yeah. A bit harder.
What are you doing tomorrow?
A little bit too hard on the shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think I don't know. It's hard because in those moments situations are so different and you can theorize now, but in that moment it's like you probably don't do anything and you just leave.
Yeah, of course, I don't think I would ever have the nutsacks to deliver on that.
But disarming. I know what you're saying. I know where you're going, and I think it's super interesting conversation because disarming people is very very important.
Yeah, that's correct.
And that's what you're trying to do actually.
Yeah.
I mean, besides the hug and all that, is if you just go and say to the person, like, if you can just help me out, could you help me out with something for a moment? So you asking for help. Of course, that person is gonna be like, "You coming to me?"
Yeah. For
help. And you say, because, I don't know who to ask really about this. And you say, like, look, I have this, you have to make up something to kind of like work with that person and just, or ask for the opinion in something that is, at the end of the day, is more like just to show that you just want a second opinion through that person. And if the person reacts in a way that is exactly what you're saying, like, you're coming to me, and so because I know more, and and then backfired. But if the person is like, okay, so you're coming to me, and cool, you want my help, and you put him in your own level. You either take him from here down, or I don't think you should go up there. Never.
Yeah,
you always
not above.
Should be grounded. But yeah, something, I don't know what, because it's so hard to tell. But disarming is my point. Disarming somebody is very important to know how to do it.
That actually reminds me of that you said you should never go higher. It's one of the rules in one of the laws in 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. He's saying that never outshine the master. So if you want to achieve something, you should never put yourself above him or take the credit for something that you did. Always be on the background, but you know that you did enough. He knows, but you will not step on his toes in a way that you put yourself in a higher position. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
But it is. But I must say that the time is running so quickly. I need to go and prepare for dinner, but so that's
yeah. Okay.
So I think we should wrap it up. I didn't check the time at all, but now I see that
it's okay.
Running so fast.
It's okay.
Yeah.